I'm Matt Towery along with Tom Baxter here at our headquarters for InsiderAdvantage, the Internet News Agency and the Southern Political Report. And we're joined on the phone with the founder of the Southern Political Report out of our Washington office, Hastings Wyman. And we have a new poll, an InsiderAdvantage majority opinion poll conducted just last night in Texas of those who said they were likely to vote in the Democratic primary. These are all registered voters. And there has been at least a momentum shift in this race for the moment. Hillary Clinton, 47%, Barack Obama, 43%, 10% undecided. Most of that movement appearing to come from Hispanics, where almost 60% now say they are voting for Hillary Clinton. And that was a fairly good subsection that you had of that poll, almost 219 people. That's close to being able to create a statistical margin of error in and of itself. Barack Obama had a consolidation, as he always usually does, of most African Americans, and Clinton was holding to the exact same percentage of white voters that she had before in our last poll, in which Obama was leading by 1 point. So that's what tells us, Tom, that this Hispanic movement is taking place, along with a little bit of consolidation among Democrats and across the age groups. But Hastings, Wyman, and then I want to go to Tom. What is your view of this? I mean, we don't know if this is definitive. As I like to tell people, and they never listen, polls are a snapshot and things can change.
Right, right.
But this...
Really, if it holds, I think it means you've got a contest. If it doesn't, I think it's about over for Hillary Clinton.
Tom,
if she should carry Texas and Ohio, then I think suddenly there's a contest, and the focus will go to Pennsylvania and North Carolina and, you know, some of the other few states remaining.
Tom Baxter, let me ask you this question because you've researched this a great deal. You know, there is this concept she could win Texas, but still a lion's share of delegates go to Obama. Would the delegate count force her to throw her hat basically out of the ring, or the sheer fact that she won by maybe 3 or 4 points enough to look big, keep her in the race?
You know, that's a good question. And I think if she wins a majority vote in Texas, and it's a solid enough vote for her to claim a victory, she probably does, because she does pull some delegates out of there. And, you know, whatever happens next Tuesday, there's a month for that to sit on the shelf before you have another big primary. That's a long time for things to change. And
Hastings, let me ask you this. I mean, the superdelegates, of course, we've had a deterioration of some of Hillary Clinton's superdelegates like John Lewis, which I explained yesterday. But do you think if Hillary Clinton appears to be making that famous Clinton comeback in the last minute, that some of those superdelegates are going to rethink their rethinking?
Oh, I think it would help her a lot with the superdelegates. I suspect a lot of them have personal and political ties to the Clintons and would like to support them, but they don't want to jump on a sinking ship. And if it looks like it may win, then it's going to help her. At a minimum, it will stop the trend toward Obama among them. All
right. Well, let's stop for a minute and just say now our poll stands juxtaposed to our Rasmussen poll that shows Obama up by 4. They came out the same day. You know, guys, we could easily be wrong, although this is the same sort of thing that we were dealing when we saw the Huckabee trend in Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee, and our fellow pollsters sort of did not see that. I have to tell you, I think we have a pretty good feel for these southern races because we're used to dealing with this mixture of African Americans, I mean Hispanic in Texas and the like. I'm not saying we're right, but I think there's a sense of a change. I want to ask you real quickly, each of us go around and in 20 seconds, if there is a momentum shift right now, what's the reason? Tom, I'll start with you.
I think it's the accumulation of not any terribly damaging story about Barack Obama, but a lot of questions that make your average American say, is he one of us?
And what about you, Hastings?
I think it's suddenly the media's just felt that they could focus critically on him, and there's been a lot of critical stories, and I think that affects voters.
And I think it's also a little bit of Barack-omania overload. I mean, you can get to a certain point, and I've seen it in campaigns, where people peak, and they peak at a certain time, and it may be that Barack Obama peaked last week, with regard to these primaries coming up, and so people are rethinking. I still think it will be close. As I said, I've got to have several nights numbers to say this is a trend versus this is at least a halt in momentum. But if there's any good news in this, I can pretty much assure the Clinton folks they're not bleeding to death as they were 3 or 4 days ago.
Quite an election year.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, believe me, guys, we're not pulling for anybody. We'd be happy for this whole damn thing to be over with because we're tired of covering it no matter who wins. But we are still slugging through. Can you believe we were starting this at Christmas time?
I think we're going to be here a while.
I think it's going to be well past Easter if things stay the way they are. Okay, stay warm, Hastings, Wyman, and Washington, D.C. We'll try to stay warm here as well. And thanks for joining us in the Insider Advantage Internet News Agency Southern Political Report Newsroom.